Hey guys, welcome back to the Lost Artistry channel. Me and Kaitlyn are both lash artists and we'll be talking about how we book in our clients, how we take payments and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one because I am a lash artist based out of Canada and Suzannah is based out of the UK.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool to see what we do the same and what we do differently.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. Suzannah, how do you book your appointments? Is there an app you use?
So I personally use the app. It's called Acuity Scheduling and it is a lifesaver because I was definitely doing the DMs, which was really ghetto. But what it does is your client books through there. They can either pay in full or they can pay in full or they can pay a deposit. With me, I give both options. If they do pay a deposit, they will bring cash when it's time for their appointment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you have it set up so that people know where to go to book an appointment with you?
So the app is actually really good. With the app, it sends out an automated message. So it will tell them what they've booked, the time, and then it will send out the address. And then a couple days before, it will send out another email reminding them. And on the email, you can actually add it to your calendar because we live busy lives. So it makes sense in terms of adding it into your calendar so you don't forget.
And do you have that link to your Instagram?
It's linked to my Instagram.
Just in your bio?
In my bio. It can link to pretty much everything. Your Instagram, your website, your TikTok, all of that good stuff.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I have a question. So do you find that you book a certain amount of time for your appointment so it's easy for you to schedule it in? Because for me, it really depends on what the client's looking for. I'm like, oh, this client might take me an hour versus this client might take me 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I always get nervous with booking standard timing, but do you have standardized timing?
I have standardized timings. However, I always leave an extra 30 minutes for every client because I think that was something I learned along the way. Things can happen, people can be late.
100%.
You can bump into a client who has really big, long eyes, so it will typically take you a little bit longer. So I think that has been what saved me in terms of giving yourself extra time, even if you don't need it. Just so you're not stressing yourself out and you're not stressing out your client. It's better to tell them it's gonna be 3 hours than it takes 2.5 hours.
100%, instead of over-promising and under-delivering, like, oh, you'll be out of here in 2 hours, but it's actually 3 hours, and it's like, oh my god, I'm late for picking up my kid.
Right?
That never feels good. That's actually a really nice way to never disappoint either, and never stress yourself out, because how many times I have been in a service, a client's been running 20 minutes behind, I try to accommodate, and then they're not getting as much coverage, and the other client's waiting, and then my whole day, it kind of like tumbles through the rest of my appointments.
Yeah.
So that's actually a really nice idea.
Yeah.
So for me, I use, I do it old school, which is hilarious because we have a company where we literally sell products all over the world. We have a website, we have Shopify, we have like the whole thing. But I am like ancient, and I have an app called Calendars. Looks like this.
Okay.
It's color coordinated. I get people to reach out to me through Instagram, and my consultation steps are really different. So for me, my process is a client reaches out, I go through consultation with them before booking them in. Okay. Well, not necessarily fully before, but I'm like, okay, send me an inspiration photo. I send them my price list. And then when they send me an inspiration photo, then we kind of book them in for the service, because I'm like, I have found in the past that some people will book for, say, classics. Yours is a little bit different because you're a wispy specialist, so people are coming for what they're coming for. Yeah. But for me, I'm so versatile in my work. I do some classics, I do some hybrids, volumes, mega volumes. And people have, when I had an online booking, people would book for classic because it's cheap. Yeah. And they'd come in and be like, here for my mega volume full set. And I'd be like, cool, I booked you in for an hour and a half. Yeah. But this is 3 hours. And that happened to me. I was a hairstylist as well. Same thing, people would book in for a root touch-up and it would be a full head of foils, and it would be like a 2-hour service versus a 5-hour service. So I'd always kind of like, it kind of just always got stuck in me. It's like, oh, don't even worry about that. Like, just reach out to me. We'll do consultation and then we'll book you in. So yeah, I do a good old fashioned, I book them into my calendar and then I remind them 24 hours before, hey, your appointment's tomorrow, just confirming that you can make it. But it's a lot of work and I get that most people wouldn't want to do that. So if you have a let's say you have a predominantly classic lash clientele, you know people are booking for classics. If you don't have all those other like varying factors, then probably most definitely better to do it your way.
Yeah, especially if you've got so much going on. And do you know what I find a lot of the times? With us lash artists, we have little to no time to actually use our hands to do other things.
100%.
So our job is us using our hands. So having to DM someone back, sometimes I think for me, I find it really difficult to get back to everyone in time.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, and with the Qt app, you have, once they go into it, there's like a terms and condition. Everything is inside of there.
I love
So
that.
no one really needs to reach out to you and actually ask you questions. Yeah.
That's really nice. It's just all automated. Do you ever find by accident that people book in like an hour before a service, or do you block off time where it's like you have a 24-hour cutoff window?
I block it off.
Okay, that's good.
So a day before, so I'll block it off the day before. And if you did want an appointment with me, then you text me for emergency and I can decide if I want to take that or not, just in case, yeah.
That's really cool. So in Canada, I know that there is, I don't use it. And guys, I will say that I don't take clients the way that I used to anymore. Probably, if I were still doing 12-hour days, I probably would have moved to more of an automated situation. But for me now, it's like I do very little amount of clients. I'm not even accepting new clients. I just have people who I deal with, and a lot more models and stuff now. So it's a lot easier for me to deal with the few clients instead of having a big list. I probably would have had to do that eventually and just been like, whatever, sometimes it's not going to work and it would be okay. But in Canada, what's it called again? A QT?
A QT?
It sounds really good, and the fact that you can use it as a payment system as well. But in Canada, you can also use Square. I know that Square does, and the US as well. I know that Square does the same thing, but you can just look up scheduling systems that also have a POS system as well, and something will come up in your area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you can definitely do that. That's really cool.
We also have Square too, and I believe Square, you can actually, they provide you with a
POS system.
Yeah, a card holder.
Yep.
Yeah, so is that what POS system?
That's a POS.
Guys,
Point of sales.
Okay.
POS, point of sales.
Which is amazing. So that allows you not to faff about with the cash or, you know, so yeah.
And they even have these little tiny things. It doesn't have to be like a huge chunky Square reader.
Yeah.
It can be just something that you plug into the bottom of your phone and you can pretty much just tap it right on the bottom of your phone. It's really, really easy. So there's so many options out there like that where you don't have to be your own secretary as well if you're too busy to do that.
Yeah.
100%. So you accept payment through that, and then it's pretty straightforward actually.
Really straightforward.
And then what do you think about like e-transfers and stuff like that? Did you ever do that? Were there anything that you learned?
When I first started, I was doing that, but then that becomes so messy.
So hard to keep track of.
So hard to keep track of. Where are you sending it? Now it makes you do more work, whereas with the system, it's so much easier. You can see everything that's coming through.
100%.
Yeah.
So I used to do, and again, back in the day, I used to do the e-transfer thing. And my biggest tip to anyone, and there's nothing wrong with doing e-transfer, especially, so guys, these systems, it costs money.
Yeah.
So if you're new into business and you don't want to spend money initially and you have the time to reach out to customers and you have time to deal with e-transfers and stuff, that's absolutely okay. But one thing I will say is what I would do is have a notes open on my phone.
Yeah.
It's always open, just a notes on my phone, easy peasy. And as soon as the client was done, I would instantly write down their name, the amount that they owed, and at the end of my day, I would go through and make sure, because you can do direct deposit now, which is hard to keep track of stuff because it just automatically goes in. But you can just, I would go through and I'd be like, okay, she paid, he paid, they paid, and then I would be like, okay, is there anything left over? If anyone who didn't pay, and then I would have to reach out to them and say, you can be nice about this too. It doesn't have to be awkward asking for e-transfers.
Aggressive.
Hey, one of my sneakiest messages is like, hey, just making sure you sent the e-transfer to the right email address. Just didn't notice it come through.
Yeah.
No rush, and then they'll send it right away.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like, hello, you
send me my money now.
Yeah, exactly. You left me hanging. But that's cool. Other than that, bookkeeping. Oh, bookkeeping. Bookkeeping's really important. What's it like in the UK with running a solo business? How do you keep track of your bookkeeping?
It depends. You can do your own. I'm not that great, so I'm gonna send that off to the accountant and he can handle all of that good stuff.
And you can totally get an accountant. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah.
It gets expensive when you have like a bunch of stuff going on, but if you keep everything organized and your accountant, just look up accountant for small business in my area. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And they'll set you up with a system, likely something like QuickBooks. I don't know if that's what it is in your area.
QuickBooks?
I don't know if it's like a global thing, but it's QuickBooks here is the most common accounting, bookkeeping system that we have. And your accountant will set you up and show you exactly how to use QuickBooks or whatever app it is to keep everything organized. So at the end of every day, don't leave this till the end of the year. You will be stressed. I've done it by accident. That was my first year in business, and I was like, what have I done? Crying. I was like going through everything. I was like, and also having a different bank account. Yeah. Very important, because if you have the same bank account for your personal and your business, then it's really hard to then look back and be like, well, was this for business? Was this for personal? Yeah. So keep everything organized, have separate accounts, and yeah, just keep it by the end of the day or end of week or something. Just go through the receipts that you have, put them in there. It's just literally taking a photo of a receipt. Say you bought a bed for your salon or something, or your space. Take a photo of the receipt, put it in QuickBooks, and then at the end of the year, your accountant or whoever's doing your taxes, it can be you, just has everything organized and laid out. Outside of that, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I think go with Suzannah's method. I'm gonna just
I don't like stress.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say, unless you're a newer artist, like I said, and you're just getting into it, you don't have to do anything fancy right out the gates. But once you do get really busy, it is nice to mainstream things in just one place.
It's almost like delegating. Yeah. Delegating to the robot.
Saving you time, because this business can eat you up and spit you up.
Grey hairs, guys.
And will take so much of your time. So if you can save time anywhere, it benefits you. Yeah. Personally and in your business. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into today's video.
Thank you.
It was a slice. See you guys in the next one.
See ya.